Let's talk about contraception. The pro-life movement tends to play it safe and avoid the topic. Many pro-life groups ignore contraception and focus on just abortion. In some ways, this is understandable, but Human Life International, a Catholic apostolate, has never shied away from this issue. In fact, combating contraception from a moral and health standpoint is one of HLI's main goals. That's because contraception unavoidably leads to abortion. What do we mean by this? As long as contraception is available and acceptable, the underlying mindset of the anti-life movement will remain. This is the contraceptive mindset, which divorces sexuality from procreation. It makes human beings into objects to be acquired or avoided at will, and it makes sex into nothing but an occasion of pleasure. Furthermore, it encourages promiscuity and fornication with a false promise of no consequences. When that fails, people resort to abortion. So it's a small jump from avoiding human life in contraception to destroying it in abortion. Contraception is the foundation of abortion. Both stem from the very same ideology of self-indulgence and negation of nature. Abortion is the bitter fruit of the contraceptive weed. Concretely speaking, contraceptive use inevitably contributes to abortion, rather than the opposite as some claim. Let's look at the stats that demonstrate this reality. First, in 2015, Anne Ferrady, former director of the British Pregnancy Advisory Service, admitted that 2/3 of women who sought abortions at PPAS were using contraception when they became pregnant. Because of data like this, she has elsewhere said that the solution to unsafe abortion is not contraception. For another example, in 2011, Spanish researchers found that between 1997 and 2007, there was a 63% increase in contraception and a 108% increase in abortions. Their findings were peer-reviewed and published in the journal Contraception. Similarly, a 2002 study based in Sweden found a 32% increase in the abortion rate between 1995 and 2001, despite wide availability of cheap condoms and oral contraceptives. In sum, the conclusions of a 2012 joint study by Duke University, Yale University, and the CDC paint an accurate picture when they say, programs that increase access to contraception are found to decrease teen pregnancies in the short run, but increase them in the long run. The reality is that a culture that accepts and promotes contraception has every reason to promote abortion, including the high failure rate of contraceptives. To further emphasize the point that contraception leads to abortion, we can listen to abortion advocates themselves. Over the years, many pro-abortion leaders have admitted as much. For example, in 1973, Dr. Malcolm Potts, the first medical director of the International Planned Parenthood Federation, said, "As people turn to contraception, there will be a rise, not a fall, in the abortion rate." It turns out he was right. As contraception grew in use and acceptance in the 70s, 80s, and 90s in the US, so did abortion rates. Finally, Christopher Tietze, the world's most experienced abortion statistician, has noted that women who have practiced contraception are more likely to have had abortions than those who have not practiced contraception, and women who have had abortions are more likely to have been contraceptors than women without a history of abortion. The bottom line is that the contraceptive mentality leads to a climate of promiscuity, which leads to pregnancies people don't want, which leads to abortion, all in a direct line. In an attempt to divorce love from responsibility, the contraceptive mentality divorces sexuality from procreation. Life is seen as an inconvenience or even a dangerous threat to avoid at all costs. With this attitude, when contraception inevitably fails in a promiscuous culture, people look to abortion. And as HLI's president, Father Shannon Bouquet, has written, "We will never end the violence of abortion until we eradicate the underlying cause, the contraceptive mentality, which is the foundation for the entire sexual revolution." Please see HLI's other resources on human sexuality for an alternative to the poverty of the contraceptive mentality. That alternative is embracing God's plan for life and love, which reserves sexuality for a loving marriage that is always open to the precious miracle of a new human being. Let's choose life in every way we can. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to tap the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications to stay connected to the conversation. Thanks for watching.